Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, our work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin.
And a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
Oh! Hello. Oh, and I just got nailed by somebody.
Wing damage. Brand new box for a new
Somebody
one.
coming out of the pits just nailed me. Let's just head back into the garage. I actually
Race over. Black flag. We've been black flagged. Drive back into the pits.
Okay. Let's not block the pit exit. That was odd. Okay, there we go. Anyway, hey! So this is F1 2018. We are on to episode 26. This is the second season of my career mode with Williams. And that was just such an odd sequence there, and we have no wing left. I'm just going to take this back the old-fashioned way. Return to garage! Alright, so we are at Austria, the Osterreichring. We just finished our qualifying session.
Car repairs have set us back a little.
It has been raining through a good chunk of all three practice sessions. You can see that we are pretty much at the end. There's just 5 points missing for an optimal third sector, but in the rain, we're not going to get optimal, and we did enough to get optimal, at least for the overall, which actually was
Our best
third.
lap so
That's
far
insane.
is a 1 minute 15.6.
And then coming out of there, the exit to turn 1, which of course I was not focused necessarily on that turn 1 anymore. Turn 1's very delicate here in Austria. I made that mistake, so I need to make sure that I definitely do not do that in the actual qualifying or in the race. That's the first real wreck that I've had this weekend. I've had a couple little spin-outs, close calls, saves, but nothing major. Turn 1, turn 3 are the only places that I've had really any kind of incidents. However, we've been in the wet, and I've actually taken advantage of being in the wet. My setup has stayed dry. Reason for it is, well, yeah, it's raining now, and it's rained all three practice sessions, but qualifying, dry. Race, dry. At least supposed to
I
be.
think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
So I've stuck to the dry setup. It's made practice a little bit more difficult. However, the conditions keep changing. We've been full wets for just one chunk. We've been in and out of dry and intermediates. And I've taken advantage of just as we hit intermediate zone, meaning you'd still get pretty quick times, but it's definitely wet enough that you should be on intermediates. It's made my practice sessions a lot easier to get through. Just a little bit trickier. I've aborted a number of laps and had to rerun. But again, because I've been in those nice conditions, done a good job getting all of our, or just about all of our resource points here in this session. So we've done well there. Now, the one thing that I still need to do that I've actually forgotten to do is there is one piece of my power unit that is just starting to get a little bit too worn. And it's definitely time for that change before qualifying, and that is the ICE, so the internal combustion engine itself, is at 58%. We have one at 41%, we have one at 72%, and then we have two completely unused ones. I'm going to go ahead and put one of those in there. But everything else is still in pretty good shape.
Right now.
So
Lots of space.
MGU-K, 2734 for the MGU-H. Energy store, the ERS system is 25, turbo is at 32, and the electronics at just 14. So everything else is definitely good to go still for this race weekend, but that ICE was certainly a bit worn. This is going to bring the overall wear on the car down by a full 10%. Gearbox. We put a new practice gearbox in this weekend, so this is the first time it's been used. It's actually already at 11% on just 15 laps, so That is actually quite significant that it's wearing that quickly. But when I only have a single reliability upgrade, I guess you get what you get. The event gearbox is now at 40%. We've done 3 races. This will make 4. We'll have 2 more to go. We should be good to go to get through the required 6 races. Most likely, but we'll keep an eye on things. If we have a really, really bad practice or qualifying, we'll go ahead and replace at some point. For here, though, I am putting in pretty decent times. We are actually fastest at the moment. Of course, that it was a qualifying run, and that's on the intermediates. That's on the wet, so we haven't really experienced much time on the dry, but this setup feels pretty good for the dry. Like I said, turn 1, turn 3, at least in the dry, is the only thing I necessarily need to worry about. About 20 minutes left here in the final practice session. I'm going to go ahead, speed it up, skip to the end of this one, and then we will move on from there. We'll do an update on part upgrades, as there have been some. And then we'll also take a look at the next potential set of upgrades and what's going on there, as this car, this Williams car, is finally here in the middle of season number 2, hitting a point where it is becoming competitive.
An interesting practice session there then. Let's remind ourselves of the top 3, who are Hamilton, Magnussen and Kimi Räikkönen.
It's rocking 14th
an
fastest.
interesting practice session. Let's hope for more excitement as the weekend unfolds.
And while I'm only 18th fastest, that was on intermediates. The only other cars to only complete intermediate runs, Hulkenberg, Ocon, both behind me. So I do have competitive times here. Last season, and I'd actually like to take a look. I believe I qualified ridiculously well. Part of me wants to say that this was my one and only pole last season, but I'm not sure that I actually pulled that off. I think that might have been practice session 3. I might have had the pole time, and then in qualifying itself, I made a mistake. I know that during the race, I think I had a collision here and had to repair parts, and that was bad. Alright, so upcoming sessions. Yes, we are still looking at dry conditions. Well, let me see here. Driver details. No, that's overall. Let's go with season results, season 1, and Austria. Oh wow, okay. No, we held on for 4th, which was our best finish of the entire season last year. So just missing the podium. I had a 4th place here. I do believe that what I thought was the case on qualifying, where I had a top few in terms of pace in the last qualifying run, but then in qualifying itself made a bit of a mistake, started much further back, but I think I still was okay or something like that, but then had a tremendous race. So this, to me, is the easiest track to drive, so there's a reason for that. We'll see if it actually lives up to its billing a second time. Of course, my AI level is turned way, way up, and this car is much different. Speaking of this car and how different it is, we have a single car part in development right now because we have a couple brand new parts that just got put on the car here heading into this race weekend. So we see that Toro Rosso has improved, but is still some distance behind everybody else. Force India hasn't improved for a little bit, and for the first time are looking more like a back marker. Sauber, real steady improvement the last few weeks to get out of that back marker status. McLaren, stagnant for a couple weeks, but that probably means they've got big upgrades coming. That's going to be a factor. As McLaren is now kind of looking, we've got a back 4. The midfield, Haas and us, level. Renault, they made some improvements, so they put themselves far enough to stay ahead of us. Big improvements from Red Bull put them back into the top 3. Mercedes stagnant this week. Not big improvements for a little while. That's putting them a little further behind Ferrari, as Ferrari's upgrades have been a little bigger, and Ferrari's got a pretty good gap at the top, so Ferrari should be winning comfortably here. But for us, we certainly have the pace to compete for a decent finish. Now, overall, the engine, though, not looking so hot. That's why we do have the oil combustion upgrade on its way to help with that engine. My standard tactic has been thrown to the wayside just a little bit. So, chassis. Haven't worked on the chassis in a while, but we are still level with Ferrari at the top. In fact, we haven't worked on it all season. But that's because the aero was at nothing at the beginning of the year. Now, finally, 13 upgrades in the books has made a significant impact on this car. We had already purchased, during that last episode, front wing end plates upgrade. It came ready to go today. And then also, before I headed to this race weekend, with the post-race resource points that we picked up, I made a halo upgrade, which helped with that rear downforce. Between the two of those, that is now, as you can see, moved us off the bottom and into the midfield on aero, making the car much easier to drive than it has been. I have a lot more stability. It turns in the corners a lot better than it used to, and it's finally tolerable in that. And with the race setup that I have for this race weekend, we're looking much better, much better. Okay, now I have some resource points. I could make some upgrades, but let's come back to that in a moment, because the aero's obviously not there yet. Now, we just made our first upgrade ever in the engine department. We have a Mercedes engine in there, but we apparently, Codemasters, decided that we have cut ties with Mercedes, and we are now in charge of our own engine development, and we have not done. So we started working on building up a department that could build an engine. We got 4 upgrades in the efficiency. There's 1 left to make. It's 1,800 points. I've thought about continuing to save and try to save up for that, but I decided, screw it. We don't have all day, and I have a feeling that this will be my final season for this series. Just not my most watched videos. Takes a long time to produce each episode. Editing, rendering, all of that. It's a lengthy process. And I've got some other games that I'd like to get in on the channel, but I really want to finish this season out and see how we do. So because of that, I'm not ready to just give up on this puppy. We've got a season to finish out, and I'm committed to that. But it does change my tactic a little bit. So instead of the super long haul, we've already played the long haul game. I'm going to shorten that timeline a little bit. We did make the first quality control upgrade. The second one, I can certainly afford. So there's a potential place to spend that money. It'll bring down the chance of failure by 7.5%. But at this point, as cheap as these upgrades are, I think I might just call that good. We've got a little bit of risk when it comes to the powertrain, but with that Mercedes engine that's no longer supplied by Mercedes, you can see we are all the way down at the bottom. We were down to last place. We have now just edged out, or on par anyway, with Toro Rosso. We have this upgrade on the way that'll close us down to McLaren a little bit, but it still has us behind. Now, I can't make the next upgrade. It's unavailable. So until that's done next week. And that's if it passes. 30% chance of failure. So aero or chassis, but again, I'm content with the chassis where it is. It's expensive to make any upgrades from there, and I don't need to when it's as good as it is. The aero was a real problem because this car was undrivable at the beginning of the season. So here's where we're at. Aero upgrades should be coming. I can afford. Ooh, okay. So we have 2 majors. Well, and 1 minor. I could actually afford a major and a minor. So that's going to be easy on the minor. It's the only choice. Let's go ahead and get the rear wing end plates. So a drag reduction here. Okay, that's good. Now we have choices. Front downforce, that's going to help my turning. And that's certainly a big thing, especially when I'm on this wheel. Rear downforce ultimately will just improve pace more than anything and not necessarily help as much with the turning. So I'm going to go ahead and spend on the front wing main plane and get this upgrade going. And you could see how much of an upgrade we're getting out of these 2 upgrades. We'll have 1 ready in 2 weeks, 1 ready in a week. But by the time they are both done, oh yeah, we're moving on up. Getting up into that upper tier, and this car will get a lot more drivable. And then I think we'll be able to kind of start cutting back to maybe 1 upgrade at a time in the aero department, and then start investing way more resource points into that powertrain, which I've steadily tried to do on the side, right? Those upgrades to the department, but not the car itself. It's time to get those upgrades onto the car continuously. So we're going to need 583 points next week for an oil pressure pump engine power upgrade. That's a major one, so you can see the potential marker. It's going to put us back into the midfield on that engine. When you throw in a decent aero package and a really good chassis, this car will finally start to scoot on up a little bit up through the field. Alright, well, we have qualifying to do. Oh, hey, one other thing before we jump in there. Contracts. I signed a new contract in between the last race and this race. Here's where we're at now. So the car has improved. So now the expected qualifying race position has bumped itself up to top 15. Still first driver in the team. My current goal, finish 10th or better. This is a good race for that as long as I can keep it clean. I do have 2 flashbacks at my disposal after I made the move on to the wheel sacrifice of taking away 10 AI points to give myself a chance to learn and adapt, and that's been huge. But after finishing 7th in the last race, it has moved back up a few points. Contract perks, I believe, are the same as before. So level 3 race bonus, level 3 upgrade speed, simultaneous development is level 1, where I can do up to 2 at a time, which is perfectly fine with me. Pit stop efficiency is at level 1, and you can see I have just that little bit of wiggle room next. The next change I would like to make is the pit stop efficiency going to level 2. On to qualifying. Now, I haven't driven in the dry since P1, the first practice session. So it has been a little while since I've been on the dry. And I've only had
and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position.
Roughly 4 laps in the dry. So that's a little worrying. It's been a little while.
Exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin.
Yeah, who can avoid making mistakes? I'll cut that there so we can get out here. Who can avoid making mistakes? Well, again, this is going to feel different as, you know what? I'm going to use my Super Softs now, knowing that I'm going to have to come back out. But this will be a little practice. Build up, regain the comfort of the dry setup, the dry pace. You know, it's 6-7 seconds a lap faster than what I was running on the intermediates. So I've got to regain that pace, regain that feel. So I'm gonna take my first lap on the super softs so that I can go back out one more time on the ultras with that peace of mind that I've done this right. Car setup's where I want it. Power unit, we've put the new engine in.
Okay, the circuit is clear at the moment. We're good to go.
I'm going to jump straight in. We're going to go to track. Yes, park for me. Got it. I'm going to go straight to that flying lap. I'm going to take a little bit slow through here. This is not the easiest section. It's a section where you can really gain time. In the wet, it was a difficult section to navigate. In the dry, it wasn't too bad. Alright, I'm already a little off my line, a little off my braking point. Good exit there, though. Start my first lap. Again, I'm on the wrong tire compound, so I expect to be a lot slower. It would be really nice, though, if I still managed to get a top, maybe 15 with this first lap. Just not be at the back, and that would be encouraging. A little late there, a little late over the sausage curb. A little wide. Yeah, nope, that was not good. Like I said, I haven't run in the dry for the last dozen laps or so, and that's hitting my braking zone. I'm pushing it a little too hard and late to my braking zones, and that's really messing up my corners. I'm going to make a second lap here. I have plenty of time, and these tires I'm not worried about. It's 11th best so far, but a little wide off the apex, but otherwise good exit that time. Little up on my time. It's too early on the braking zone that time. Ended up having to lift. That was much better. That was a good corner. Alright, I'm over 3 seconds up on my time.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
Whoa, third! Whoa! Okay. Third on the super sauce. I've got somebody behind me. Let's get out of their way. Return to garage. Okay, yes. I might not need to go back out.
Our best lap so far is a 1:7.5.
Okay, Sorokin third right now. I am fifth right now. And that is on super softs. Ricardo did it. Hamilton did it. Bottas did it, and I'm ahead of Bottas. And then we got Grosjean, Magnussen, Sainz, Ericsson. This looks like this is going to be enough to get out of Q1. There's only 2 guys yet to register a time. Raikkonen and Verstappen, of course, are going to go to the top. Yes, this is still last year's, the 2018, so Raikkonen still in the Ferrari. Ricardo still in the Red Bull. Vettel fastest right now. I'm just 6/10 off Vettel's time. And I think that is going to be enough. Do we risk it? Well, we're down to 8th now. Raikkonen as expected, Verstappen as expected, Sorokin the only other one ahead of me outside of the Big Six. He was on Ultras and only 5/100ths ahead. So 8th place right now. I think I am going to be good to go. These guys are all on Ultras. And it's not a huge gap, though. It's not a huge gap. I mean, we're talking a half a second right now is my cushion. I'm going to see some times. Like, Ocon just finished his lap. He's not going to go better. Force India, remember here, at this point, is slow. So is the Toro Rosso. So is the McLarens. So I need to keep an eye. If one of them get ahead of me, no. Alonso and McLaren still behind. So I've still got that cushion. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm risking it. I'm not going back out. I am not going back out. Hands off. Let it be. Let it be. And just fine. 9th place. 9th place. One of 6 drivers to go through on the Super Softs, saving a set of tires. Oh, well done. Well done. Magnussen went faster. And, of course, the Big Six and my teammate, the only driver outside of the Big Six to get through on Super Softs in Q1. Now, of course, that means I can't do this in Q2, but I'm not the Big Six. I'm not thinking that's going to be the case.
Fuel system. We don't think it's anything terminal, but it is going to take some time to investigate and repair.
Yeah, 7 minutes. That's a lot. That is a lot of time in a 15-minute session. That's half the time. Luckily, it's going to stay cloudy and dry. That means I'm going to essentially have a one-shot here. Do I have the right tires? Yes, the Ultra Softs are equipped. Going through in 9th is not enough for me. That is not comfortable enough to run the Super Softs. I mean, I don't necessarily mind missing. We've already hit the team objective. We've got a top 15. So that's in the bag. And I don't necessarily mind missing out on Q3 because I'll get the fresh tires and rain's coming. Rain is coming and it hopefully is far enough away. I think we'll stay dry. I think we will stay dry, but that does mean that the track conditions are going to change. 12 seconds here. 12 seconds. Vettel's the only one out there right now. Let's see if he comes in. Actually, that's going to be really important before I go out there to see if Vettel comes in. Make sure I have a clear track. And does he disappear? No, okay, Vettel's running a hot lap here. But I should be clear now.
I think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
Okay, straight to the flying lap on the Ultras now. It took me a few laps, but I think I have that comfort back. Made the adjustment back to the dry conditions, but now we're going to be even faster. Those braking zones, though, should be a little easier to hit on these tires. Stopping power expected to be better. More grip here. Actually a little late on the DRS. I was focused on the exit there and making sure I did not lose traction. Oof. Little wide. I got on the gas a little too early. Had to let up again to get off the sausage curve. That's going to cost me 1/10 of a second. That's Vettel ahead of me. That's a good marker. Oof, wide, wide. Scrubbed off enough speed though to recover. 15th. 15th. 1 second off. So 1 second off pole, and I'm slowest. I'm going to watch my time here early on, see if I can't get something better. But I don't want to go... Oh, nope. There you go. Laps wasted. I need to go back in. Straight back to the garage. I need my other set of tires. How much time do I have? 3 minutes. 3 minutes. It's enough time. It is enough time. Flying lap. Straight to the flying lap. There could be traffic, though. We'll see. We'll see. Still dry, but oh boy, it's cloudy. Could be making the track slower. Can we recover? Find out. This is essentially my last chance to get through to Q3, or at least improve my position. I'm already up on my time. The exit on the final corner was good. First corner was much better. That's already 0.2 of a second up. 2.5.
If we don't get into 10th or higher, we won't progress to the shootout.
Still 2.5 tenths. Remember, there was only 1 second from first to last. Oh! Okay, I think I recovered. Yeah, no time lost. No time lost. Purple in second sector. Half a second up. I'm splitting the time now. Splitting the time. Qualifying complete. This is it. I gained a second. I think I gained a second. That's going to be right near the top third. Yes. All right. Third place. Oh, I like it. I like it. Okay. Ooh. Vettel. Super softs. Dang. Raikkonen fastest on the Ultra. So Ferrari is definitely the team to beat. But I'm ahead by the tiniest of margins. 1/10 of a second over Bottas. Not a 10th, 100th of a second, I mean. Less than a 10th to Hamilton. And then just over a 10th to the Red Bulls. Wow. Tight field, but I'm up there with the Big Six. Sorokin just missing out, and actually he's really in the prime spot. So Sorokin's going to have his choice of tires starting in P11. I wouldn't have minded being there. If I'm going to be here in Q3, which it looks like I am, I'm going to need another good time. If I can start near the front, that's going to be optimal. I know I was fast last season, but the AI difficulty level was turned down quite a bit, so it's certainly up there. And I don't know if I have the consistency to really compete near the front. I definitely feel like I could be in the top 10 if I can keep a clean race, especially with it being dry. The wet, a lot more difficult. I definitely think I can manage a top 10. I do have 2 flashbacks to avoid a couple of mistakes, but those are going to have to ultimately come down to collisions or major spinouts. So a wide turn or something like that, those kind of mistakes, I'm not going to be able to cover. So I've got to make sure I can keep it clean. Of course, it's qualifying where you're pushing harder.
Let's repay them with a strong performance.
Hamilton already out on track. It is dry. Track's going to cool off, so it's not necessarily going to get faster here. And I've only got... Oh, I do have 2 sets. I do have 2 sets. That's right, you get 1 more in Q3. See, I don't get here very often. 11 minutes. We should get our first run going. Grosjean's out there. Ricciardo's out there. Fresh set already put on the car, so let's go into our flying lap. First of 2 here in Q3. We're already locked into those ultra softs. It's raining. Oh, jeez. It's raining. Oof. Little bit of grip loss there on the exit of the final turn. Gonna have to be very careful here. It's still dry enough. I'm still getting DRS. But it is definitely a little bit damp, so times are gonna be down. Oh! There goes the wing.
You have a lot of wing damage.
Okay, we'll go straight back into the garage. I'm not using a flashback here and now. Not a chance. I only get 2. I'm not going to use them.
Spend time repairing the damage to the car.
It's going to continue to rain. It says it's overcast and dry right now, but it's definitely wet out there. And it looks like it's going to get wetter, so I need to put on the fresh set. And we need to get back out there now. It's drier now, it's going to get wet, so we need to get on the track. I haven't even put in a time, so we're looking at P10 right now. Flying lap. Last chance. Still raining, but it's not coming down as hard as it was. Track is damp though. I could feel the rear end trying to give way on the turns here. But so far, 1 and 3 are the most dangerous turns. Well, and in the wet, the chicane. Oh, late. Well, there you go, P10. P10, it's going to be. I should have started braking a little bit earlier because of the damp conditions. I ended up overshooting the corner, and that's going to be P10. So, my teammate's going to be in a better position for this race than I am, even though he's going to start right behind me. Whoa! Whoa! Saved it. Nope, almost saved it!
Seeing major wing damage.
Alright, well, that's it. Couldn't even manage to finish this one. I thought I saved it. I might have touched the grass on the left after the save, and that sent it back around the other way. So that's it. Qualifying is going to be in the bag. That's going to be P10. Might have a little time, but I don't think so. No, minute 18.
Car repairs have set us back a little.
That's it. So, P10 for the race because the rain started to come down and I could not get a time in.
Of our top 3, who are Vettel, Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway.
Now the good news is this means there won't be as much pressure. I have good pace. I can work the cars in front of me. Leclerc in the Sauber, not Ferrari. Hulkenberg, Grosjean. I could beat those guys. So at this point, I think my target is going to be P7. I don't think I'm going to have enough to beat the Red Bull or the Mercedes. It better stay dry for the race because they said it was going to be dry for qualifying and it ended up not dry for qualifying. And I definitely have a dry setup. Yes, I got through practice okay, but not easily. And running ultra softs in the damp is definitely not good for me. I would need to be on intermediates very quickly if the rain comes. So this is... And because nobody went on intermediates, we're not going to get free tire choice. So again, that's going to keep the advantage to Sirotkin.
Great work out there today. How do you think it went?
Well, top 10 is good, but
It's
could have
been
been
a
better.
great qualifying session for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race?
Car feels fantastic.
How does a car perform in these conditions? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage?
Let's go with the cocky answer, though that's not actually how I feel, but the team appreciates the
It's good to
showmanship.
get the reliability issues out of the way in practice, isn't it?
It's better, but it's still not ideal. Durability's not going to be happy about that,
You
but
left a lot of paint
I'm
on
not
the walls
spending
today.
any money on
Were
durability.
you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
No comment on that one.
Appreciate your time.
We gave her 3 answers. She didn't need 4. Alright, well, it could have been better, but P10 is still good. We qualified ahead of our teammate. We met the team objective. We qualified higher than our rival, did we? We'll find out here in a second. Hartley, oh yeah, we were definitely above Hartley. Hartley's still our rival, okay. And I've struggled enough this season that he was actually ahead of me until recently. So I finally emerging ahead of both drivers in this rivalry. Sorokin won the last matchup there. Hartley won the last matchup there. So I have really struggled of late, but I'm starting to pull ahead here, and we're not too far off from the end of both of these rivalries. $221 points, not a great haul, but it's alright. Team's certainly happy with that performance.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Okay, it says it's going to be dry. It's at least sunny for half the race. We'll see what happens when it gets cloudy in the back half. Hopefully it stays dry for us. But let's get into the race weekend.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet, and his beard, when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3.
It's turning 1 and 3 that I need to watch out for in the race. If I can keep it clean through those corners, drive a little more conservatively there, I like our chances as long as I can keep it clean with the other drivers. Battle on pole, Hamilton second.
Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Grosjean, Hülkenberg, Leclerc, the Professor, and Sergei Sorokin.
Ooh, I bumped up a spot.
Verstappen
down to 12.
Fernando Alonso, and Magnussen, Ericsson, Van Dorn, Pierre Gasly, and Sergio Perez. Hartley and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, the run into turn 1 isn't too long, so the pack will be bunched up. Take care.
Okay, gotta be careful turn 1. Gotta be careful turn 1. I'm glad I'm on the outside. I'll have a little more room to work with. Some runoff area. I'm not going to be able to change tires because I got into Q3. Is that correct? Yeah, I'm locked in. So they didn't unlock that. The big thing is if we try to go one more lap, if we go 8 laps, we're actually saving just a little bit of time. Let's go ahead and do that. And 20 laps worth of fuel for an 18-lap race. That's 2 spare laps. I think that's plenty. So it looks like we're all set to go racing here in Spielberg in the Osterreichring for the Austrian Grand Prix. We're going to put up 5 red lights and let's go racing. Turn 1, keep it clean. Turn 1, got to brake early. Little wheel spin, little slow, but not terrible. Use the runoff area. Slot back into 9th. That's okay. That is okay. Oh, braking too early because I was nervous for this. Turn! It's not turning. Oh, he's on my left rear. He's on my left rear. Signs was right in my left rear. No damage, I don't think. And now I've got enough space to actually start running here. That was dangerous. That was close, but can't say we're clean through. But we're without danger. We're without a flashback. Without damage. Whoa! 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 Really? I downshifted when I shouldn't have. The downshift caused that. And it's here on the exit. Yes? Yeah. I downshifted too much and lost the rear end. We'll go from here. Oh, wrong button. From here, here, right off the exit. Well, I just wasted my first one by downshifting too many times.
Okay, we're through
And
the
then
start
over
phase.
RPMing
Now
and
let's
losing the
build
rear end because I was still hard on the gas. So, 3 mistakes on lap 1 and one flashback already. Turn. This full fuel load, it's a lot harder to get through turn 3 there. The car is so much heavier right now. Alright, I'm catching back up to these guys. Getting a feel for the car at this weight a little bit. Hamilton sets a new fastest lap.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
More than 1 second behind. Verstappen's the one behind me now, so I'm going to have to watch out for him. Still over a second behind. Sorokin has gotten around Verstappen. Oh, that's good that he's able to race with him. That's a good sign for me down the stretch here. Lap 3. New fast lap from Ricardo. And I'm getting a lot more comfortable here. At the moment I'm saving some ERS. I'm 2.5 seconds behind Leclerc. Verstappen's 3 seconds behind me, so I've got some nice clean air. Good chance to run here for a while. .6 to Sorokin as he continues to battle with Verstappen as they go back and forth. That's buying me some more time and a bigger gap, and I'm starting to catch these guys in front a little bit. Just on standard run right now. Four seconds behind.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
No need to
We're
change
leading our
strategy.
teammate by 4.2 seconds.
A little wide there on the exit of turn 1. Hulkenberg, now the guy ahead. Leclerc's gone around. They're still battling. This is going to buy me some extra time. Close them down some. Verstappen's gotten back around Sorokin, so battles in front, battles behind, both benefiting me. DRS, yes! Okay, I'm getting close to these guys. I'm going to start saving some ERS for a moment to use the DRS instead to close these guys down a little further. Actually, I have plenty, so let's just turn that back up. Hulkenberg, Leclerc battling. Can I get them both? Lap 6. Slow exit there. Had to look to the inside. Thought it was better to just get back in line. These guys could be pitting any time here. Nope, not this lap.
Okay, gap to leader, 7.1 seconds.
Ooh, that was close. That's my braking zone a little bit. What happens when you start relying on the visibility of it?
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Switch to overtake and have a go.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till the front straight for that. Hulkenberg moving to the inside. Hulkenberg's pitting.
We're boxing this lap. Give us the best in lap you can.
hitting this lap. I'll just stay behind Leclerc. This is not the best overtaking chance for me. Really don't want to mess it up. Nervous to hit him. Oh, no! See? See? There goes number 2. No, that's where I get up beside him, so let's just take it from back here. He was slow on this turn, and he's slow again. I'm just going to stay behind this time, because that's my last flashback. I've got to get a clean race from here.
Okay, remember to pit this lap.
Looks like he's coming in too... Oh, braking way too early here. Okay, a little bit of time lost. At least a second there. We'll come out on medium.
Release, release.
Okay, good. Quick stop, quick stop. 2.2. Come on, I'll turn it off already.
These tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Ah, Verstappen's ahead. We lost 1 position here. Now, fuel's good. ERS, I have plenty. But what I can't do is get involved into a race here with Verstappen and come in contact. Alonso out of the race. We're down to P16 currently. But again, top 10. Used ultra soft tires, so we're pitting sooner than most of the field. And even though Verstappen started in 12th, he is considered top 10 because he qualified top 10.
If you think you can get past, increase ERS deployment to overtake mode.
Now I mostly just want to keep close to him. Yellows. Caution. Something else going on here?
Okay, clear.
Or is that Alonso? Rocking in the pits.
Sergey is in the pits. Sergey in the pits. The gap behind us is 8.0 seconds.
8 seconds behind. That's a nice gap. Back into the top 10. A little late, little late. Oh, good recovery. So that's P10. Magnussen is the one behind now. So Magnussen got around Sorokin. So he made an undercut. Verstappen made an undercut on me. Of course, that was pit road entry exit. That cost me that one. task. New fast lap. Ooh, I'm too far down. Lap 12.
Gap to teammate behind is 8.0 seconds.
Saved it. Little oversteer there coming out of turn number 1. That's going to open that gap a little bit, but I kind of like having clear air. I mean,
Gap to the car in front is
DRS was nice, but
1.5 seconds.
the instability was not. The tire wear, definitely not. Good exit. I've caught back up a bit here, but Vettel, new fast lap. I think I'm still over a second behind. No, back within a second. So I've managed to pick up the DRS again. And with so many DRS zones in such a short lap, it's a real boost to have here. But my DRS has gotten quite low, so we're back to conserve mode on that. Little oversteer again. This tire's not quite having the grip as much anymore. We've still got a handful of laps to get through here. Meanwhile, Verstappen and I are both closing up the cars ahead. I would imagine that that is Leclerc and Grosjean. Or no, Leclerc and Hulkenberg, right? That's who we were racing against. A little too tight to the apex there. Back out of DRS range here. A little too late, up on the curb. I need to start braking earlier. I don't have as much grip anymore here. It's getting quite noticeable.
Catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
Okay, as he catches up to them, unless he makes a quick pass, that's going to slow Verstappen down a little bit. That'll give me a chance to get up there. However, I don't want to get into a battle with those three and have myself taken out of the race. I've got no flashbacks left. P10 is in the points. I'm happy with that. It's ahead of my teammate. It's ahead of Hartley. I think P10 is probably right where I belong in this one in terms of running order. And yes, it is Hulkenberg and Leclerc in front of Verstappen. Verstappen having a look to the outside of Leclerc, but he tucks back in. Turn this back down for now. I don't have enough pace, I don't have the engine power to overtake these guys on the straights. Which means overtaking is really difficult for me. Okay, now I'm back up on ERS a bit, so we can start using a little more. I'm starting to get close. I've caught up. Hulkenberg's slowing us down. By the way, I think you're picking up some audio from my other monitor. I've got my Grand Prix Racing Online race just came to an end. That's a management game, free game online.
We're leading our teammate by 9.5 seconds.
Okay, still in 10th. 2 laps to go.
The gap to the car behind is 2.5 seconds.
Magnussen's still behind. 2.5 seconds back. I should be clear of him as long as I can keep it clean in these last 2 laps. Leclerc's been struggling to try to get around Hulkenberg. Verstappen's struggling to try to get around Leclerc. Having a look here.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining. This is your final lap of the race.
I'm letting off. There we go. Oh, they come together. Here's my chance. Leclerc, Verstappen. Can I make the double pass? Oh! Verstappen! Ah. 5 seconds, stop and go. He hit me. Verstappen takes me out, but trying to get back on the racetrack, I hit him. So that's where my penalty. I get a 5-second penalty for hitting him, trying to straighten out. Vettel goes on to win the race. I had the double pass made, and then they hit my left rear and spun me out, and that was Verstappen who did that. So Leclerc is going to go on to claim P9. Or no, P8. So Verstappen ruined my race and his. Turning, come on. Lost a huge chunk of wing on the wall there. Still not last, but this is ridiculous. Final lap of the race. I make a beautiful double pass and then get taken out by Max Verstappen, who just wasn't having any of it because he couldn't make the pass himself.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs. And that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So I go from 1 point guaranteed,
So here they
chance
come
to move
now,
up a
out
couple
onto the
places.
podium. Wherever you go,
I make a
anywhere
good
in the
clean
world,
pass, perfectly
France and
timed.
Horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out
And it
in force
absolutely
again
gets
today.
ruined.
It's Ferrari on the top
Last
step
lap
once
crash from Max Verstappen, and then I get double penalized. The crash wasn't bad enough. I go to get back on the track and drive straight into Verstappen. He and I were both eager to get back out on the track, and we both drove forward, and I got blamed for the follow-up crash He better have taken a penalty as well for taking me out in the first place.
This result affects the
Ooh,
drivers'
Sorokin only ends up in
championship.
12th.
The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Sergio Perez. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings.
You only got that
Ferrari
spot because we
extend
were
their
out.
lead at the top of the championship. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
So Hamilton's lead is down to 14 points. Vettel overtakes his teammate to move into P2 in the championship. Ricciardo and Hülkenberg both moving up. And then here's the results. So Vettel wins the race from pole. Bottas moves up to second place. Good finish for him. Just 1.8 down on Vettel at the finish. Hamilton takes third, Raikkonen fourth. Ricciardo is fifth. And then we have the Haas of Grosjean. And then here was that train that I was involved in. So we had Hülkenberg. Leclerc ends up hanging on and taking 8th, though we were 3 wide there. Magnussen moves up and claims 2 points with 9th. Perez claims a point with 10th. They both get gifted that at the end. Sainz 11th. Sorokin all the way down to 12th after such a solid position that he was in mid-race. Ericsson 13th. Verstappen gets back out on track to reclaim 14th. No penalty for Verstappen. I take 18th after Van Dorn is gifted 17th after the 5-second penalty. So I only end up finishing ahead of Ocon at the end of this race. Hartley even finishes ahead of me, even though I was 30 seconds up the road until Max Verstappen takes me out. Let's see the race director. Was he just warned? Incidents. Yeah, here you go. Max Verstappen, lap 18. Ooh, no! It started with Leclerc. So, lap 18. Leclerc gets a warning. He was the one in the middle, so Leclerc hits me. Verstappen hits me. They both hit me. And then Verstappen hits me again, pushing me into the wall. So I got hit 3 times going into that wall, and nothing but warnings for them. And then I get called for a severe collision and a 5-second penalty in the follow-up to that crash, trying to get back on the track. Ericsson had a stop-go penalty. I had that light contact with Sainz on the first lap. But that was ridiculous that they get nothing but warnings. And I get taken out. And I get the 5-second penalty. I do at least get the fastest lap to hold ground above Sorokin and Hartley, but that was unfortunate. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.